Good morning, everyone. I'm Chief Pamela A. Smith of the Metropolitan Police Department. I'm here today to discuss an officer-involved shooting. I'm joined today by Deputy Mayor Lindsay Appiah, Deputy Mayor of Public Safety and Justice, Executive Assistant Chief Andre Wright, who oversees our Patrol Operations Division, and Investigative Services Bureau Assistant Chief Ramey Kyle. At approximately 4:38 a.m. this morning, our officers responded to a report of a man with a gun who fired shots inside of a lobby in the 300 block of Florida Avenue Northeast. Officers quickly responded to the scene, and when they first arrived, they made contact with the individual, but then he suddenly ran into an elevator. Additional officers responded to the scene to search for the suspect. A few minutes later, the suspect comes out of the elevator and encounters the officers in the lobby. Officers attempt to take the man into custody at that time when he produced a firearm. During the struggle, the suspect discharged his gun at the officers, and the officers returned fire, striking the suspect. During the incident, 3 officers sustained gunshot wounds and were transported to local hospitals. Thankfully, all of our officers are in stable condition, they're talking, and we're so grateful that they survived this unfortunate incident. Other officers attempted to provide life-saving measures to the suspect, but unfortunately the suspect was pronounced on the scene. Agents from our Internal Affairs divisions are on the scene conducting the investigation in conjunction with our Criminal Investigations Division. The case will be independently reviewed by our U.S. Attorney's Office. The officers have been placed on administrative leave per our agency's policy, and what I will say is this is yet another reminder of the daily dangers that we face every day in our city and across the U.S. I'm very grateful that our officers were able to get through this particular incident without any further injuries, and I will take any questions that you have at this time.
What more do we know about the suspect? Was this a resident of this apartment building?
So we're still trying to determine that at this point. The suspect that we know of was in the area. Evidently, he appeared to be very familiar with the establishment, or I should say the apartment. But we do not know whether he's a resident, or we do not know how he came in contact with being inside the building.
How long was he in the elevator before he emerged again? Did he go to another floor, do you know?
We do not know. That's still under a part of the investigation.
Were there reports of gunfire before the officers arrived?
That is correct. We received a 911 call advising that there was a man who had discharged his weapon in the lobby of the building.
Did that come about because of an argument, or was he just in the lobby shooting?
That's still under investigation. There was a call made, like I said, to 911 advising that a gunfire had been discharged in the building, and our officers responded to the location. There was a concierge that was also located in the building who made us aware of the fact when the individual did come back downstairs, of course, that was the individual. And keeping in mind that we did encounter him when we first arrived. However, he jumped on the elevator.
Chief, how are your officers doing? Have you had the opportunity to talk to them?
Our officers right now are in good condition. They're talking, and when I say good, I do mean that they're stable, in other words, but they are talking. I'm actually headed to the hospital as soon as I leave this press conference. Any other questions?
So he came out of the elevator, I'm sorry, I just asked this. Then he shot, or?
So let me start over again. So officers responded to the location. When they respond, they encounter the individual. The individual jumps on an elevator and goes to whatever floor. He comes back down, and then he engages the officers and produces a handgun. The officers attempted to take him in custody, and while attempting to take him in custody, he discharges the firearm.
So in the engagement process, we were trying to de-escalate, and he didn't seem to want to comply.
I explained to you what exactly happened. As part of the investigation, that will all be determined.
Do we know how many shots the person fired?
I do not know at this time.
But all 3 of those officers were hit.
That is correct. All 3 officers were hit with gunfire during this encounter.
Any message to the community? It seems like this was an isolated incident to this building.
It was an isolated incident. I mean, there are no outstanding individuals or suspects that we have to be concerned about. We have preliminarily looked at some of the video footage from the actual establishment, and so that determines that this appears to be an isolated incident in that particular lobby.
How many times was the suspect shot?
That's still under investigation. I'm not sure at this time.
Do you have an approximate age?
We, we do not know his age. We don't know who the suspect is. The OCME has not responded to the location as of yet, so that we were able to determine whether he has any identification on him. Once we're able to determine that, we will have that information released.
Does that mean that the person, you don't know whether the person who made the initial call was known to the suspect?
I do not know that at this time.
What is the name of the apartment building?
I think it's the Union Market apartment building, but if that's not accurate, we'll get the appropriate name for you. Any other questions? All right, thank you.